Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. That's Lower Alabama, my friends, as we start a Tuesday, the second day of July, 4th of July, to just around the corner. There'll be fireworks, more fireworks, 20 minutes of fireworks by the city of Troy, and it will be beautiful. And so you don't have to go anywhere else but stay right here. Take a picnic lunch or take your little grill out there and grill some hot dogs and have some music and sit back and relax with friends and enjoy this wonderful holiday, the 4th of July. And, of course, again, we're expecting great weather, and we're expecting a large crowd to be watching the annual fireworks, 4th of July fireworks from they'll shoot them from the other side of Charles Henderson High School, and there should be plenty of room for a lot of people to get good seats right on top of the fireworks, and should be a lot of fun. And we appreciate our city fathers, Mayor Reeves, and the other council people to make sure that the city of Troy has this nice fireworks demonstration as anybody around. So sit back and relax and enjoy a wonderful, wonderful 4th of July. Bring some watermelon with you. You want to? I had some watermelon last night that was wonderful, just good and sweet, no seeds. And boy, that's one of the great inventions of all times, is the seedless watermelon. And it's really, really nice especially if it's cold watermelon on a warm day. And we had some friends over, and really was a lot of fun to eat that watermelon after a good meal. Here's a call coming in from here. Good morning. You're on Today in LA. How you doing?
Hi, morning.
Of course, where are you calling from?
A little place called Grayton Beach, Florida, man.
And it's a little village. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a little hippie beach village.
Bunch of yuppies.
Long hairs.
Bunch of yuppies running around. You mean the hippies are coming back? You see a lot of long hairs?
All I see down here actually is golf carts and bicycles, man.
Okay.
It's taking over 38 down here. I tell you what, you hadn't lived until you get behind a golf cart trying to get somewhere down here. It's a slow ride.
And they don't get out of the way either, do they?
Well, they can't get on the bicycle path and the walking path. That's against the law down here, so they have to be on the actual.
Yeah. But I've never seen a policeman down there, Mike. I've never seen a policeman in Great Bend.
You'll see a lot now. There's a lot of sheriffs.
Oh, really?
Patrolling, yeah. So it's that time of year. It's packed up down here.
And you'll drive your pickup truck out on the beach and have everything in it?
I'm gonna maybe drive it out today, but I don't know if I'll drive it out the rest of the week. It's just getting so many people out on the beach. And
now you won't leave it though, will you? Just drive it out.
Well, people don't realize that once you start driving that truck on that sand, you can't stop. If you stop, you can get stuck really easy. So that's another scary thing when you get out there and people are walking in front of you. It's kind of hard to because if you do stop, you can easily. It's hard to get going again sometimes.
Do you have four-wheel drive?
Yeah, you got to have four-wheel drive to go out there.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's good.
I mentioned great news yesterday. I found out that our former coaches, Coach Cunningham, Coach Grant on the basketball team, are now back together again at Western Kentucky.
Isn't that wonderful?
Under Rick Stansberry, who was the longtime Mississippi State coach.
Stansberry took care of his guys, didn't he?
Yeah, took care of his guys. So Cunningham will be the associate head coach at Western Kentucky, and then Grant will be the assistant coach. So basically, these guys are working for a guy they'd worked for several years before. Cunningham worked 12 years for Stansberry at Mississippi State, and Grant had worked 8 years.
I tell you what, I'll be a big fan of theirs, I promise you.
Well, West Kentucky is a great program. I don't know if people realize it, but they've been in the state tournament over 20 times.
And they play in an arena, over 10,000 people can sit in the arena, too, isn't it?
Yeah, and, Bowling Green, Coach Cunningham had actually coached up there before under Harper, who's the Jacksonville State coach.
Yeah, I got you.
Before he got the Troy job. So he's familiar with that area. Of course, he grew up in Campbellsville, Kentucky. And as we always say, it's all about connections. Stansbury's dad played for Lou Cunningham, Bill Cunningham's dad in college.
Yeah. That is great. And now our other guy.
We mentioned the other day that Ben Fletcher is now associate head coach at Kennesaw State, so he actually got a raise.
I think that's a great opportunity. He's going to love living in Atlanta, too. That's going to be fun. A lot of his buddies live over there, Mike, including the great one that went in the Hall of Fame this past session.
Well, Daryl Thomas?
Yeah, Daryl Thomas.
Yeah, Daryl Thomas is probably about 6 or 7 years older than Ben.
Yeah, but they know each other, I promise you. And, of course, both of them are great players. Wouldn't you love to have a backcourt of those two?
Yeah, that would be great. But I'm glad all these guys have now found jobs. Of course, Coach Worley was retained from the previous staff. So, and Ronald Steele, not Ronald Steele, but
went back to Alabama, didn't he?
Is now back at Alabama as the video coordinating for Coach Oates' team. So he's on the staff at Alabama now, so it all worked out.
Well, no question, and it's great. Of course, everybody's getting ready for the 4th of July, and we're excited about that. Record traffic is expected, Mike. They expect thousands and thousands. Well, they expect 49 million. Well, is it million or let me read that again. They expect 49 million people to travel a distance of 50 miles or more during the 4th of July holidays. And it's a time to be real careful, especially with fireworks. You're buying fireworks, they're pretty and all that, but they're dangerous, so be careful. We've got a friend of ours, Mike, that was just playing around with a rocket launcher and got his eye put out. You remember that?
Who was that?
Well, it happened. I'm not going to mention the name, but he is a very good friend of mine, and it happened on Crow Hill. And
really, I didn't know that. When was that?
Oh, it's been 10 years ago. But he had the young man that got hit with the rocket had to go through numerous eye surgeries and actually lost his eye.
It's definitely dangerous. I know I was, one of those crazy kids with bottle rockets growing up, and we're lucky none of us got hurt really bad.
No question about it. Of course, the city of Brundage had a great Independence Day parade, and it was my buddies, the South Side Shufflers, were there, and big parade from downtown Brundage on Saturday. We were there to do the parade on television. Of course, it's 4th of July, and no better place to be than the Meeksville 4th of July parade. On the 4th of July, all the roads seemingly lead to Meeksville in rural northern Pike County. For 8 years now, the Meeksville has hosted Pike County's 4th of July parade. Located on those locals and those from outlying areas will enjoy a Norman Rockwell kind of parade. And of course, it is a very unique parade, and I'm thinking it starts at 9 o'clock. I'm going to double check here. I didn't see a time for the parade, but Meeksville parade is 697 miles from the White House in Washington, D.C. That's 28 days by buggy. But no matter how far the distance is, Ernest Green Parade Committee said the 4th of July is worth the drive. And the 4th of July parade actually started in nearby China Grove, and Meeksville kind of inherited the parade, and they love it, and they put on a great parade. So, hey, if you like to be in the parade, hey, bring a golf cart, bring an old mule, bring your old mule or your horse or your horse and buggy or whatever, and join the festivities at Meeksville. Of course, there's also a great opportunity to meet people. Rex Lumber is now in the area and will not have any trucks running that morning, so that's nice. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And barbecue plates, their barbecue is outstanding. and they've also got slabs of ribs, Mike, on sale, and those guys know how to cook it. And 10 a.m. is the start, and they're going to do the parade lineup is at the old Meeksville fire station across from Scotty's Grocery, beginning around 9 o'clock. The lineup will be, and they'll get going around 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. So, hey, get your kids, and I promise you, you'll love it and enjoy an old-fashioned 4th of July parade from downtown in Meeksville, if you want to call it. And it's a great place, and great people, and they're excited about putting it on. So get your family all set up, and let's go to Meeksville for the 4th of July. Of course,
real sad news in Major League Baseball. Tyler Skaggs, the 27-year-old pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels, they found dead in his hotel room yesterday. They were in Arlington, Texas, about to play the Texas Rangers. So 27-year-old pitcher for the Angels was found dead. They postponed the games yesterday between the Los Angeles Angels and the Texas Rangers. So sad news in Major League Baseball.
How did he die? How did he die, Mike?
Kid was only 27 years old. They found him non-responsive. They don't think he took his own life, so they think it's some natural causes. So crazy thing to find out before a baseball game yesterday.
Well, it sure was, and our prayers and our thoughts go out to that young man's family. And
he was 7-7 on the year in 15 starts with 4.29 ERA and 78 strikeouts. He's from Santa Monica, California.
Oh, man.
So I'm sure that was a dream come true for him to play with the Los Angeles Angels. So awfully sad news in Major League Baseball to hear that.
Yeah, no question about it. And
also, of course, we've talked about this numerous times over the last few weeks, but there's been charges now in the horrible, tragic death of Rob Bramlett and his wife. They've now arrested a 16-year-old who caused the accident or wreck. I don't know if it'd be an accident or not, but apparently he was under the influence of marijuana and was also traveling way over the speed limit of 55 miles per hour. So a 16-year-old is now being charged for manslaughter as an adult in that tragic wreck that killed Auburn's great announcer and his wife. So I guess we'll follow that as it goes. But pretty amazing how that's all come about. That was all kind of kept close to the vest, and now it finds out, that somebody will be charged for manslaughter.
Oh, man. I tell you, it's tough enough that these two wonderful people, a great announcer and his wife, were killed, and at the same time, a 16-year-old, this could have a huge impact on his life. And
the name has been announced publicly. We won't mention that on the show. Apparently, he was a high school kid at Lee Scott Academy.
Yeah, boy, oh boy. Oh boy. And then, of course, it's awfully sad. And Bramlett, Mike, will go down as been a great announcer. That's no question about it. He took over for Jim Fife and just did a great job at Auburn. Don't you agree?
Yeah, Auburn's got a definitely decision to make, too. They've got to have somebody ready to go here in the next few weeks. So I'm sure that we'll have an announcement as far as his replacement here pretty soon.
I hope they'll stay away from our guy, and our guy would definitely be one of the ones that would be mentioned. We're talking about McKnight. Troy's voice is a big Auburn guy, wouldn't you say?
Well, I know he's worked at Auburn over the years. The biggest issue there is, Auburn's got a lot of talented people, a lot of alumni that are involved.
What's the guy that does baseball or used to do baseball?
I would think that they'll go maybe towards Birmingham in that market, maybe bring somebody down. But we'll see what happens. Merchant does a great job in baseball.
What's his name now?
Andy Merchant.
Yeah, he's been doing baseball a long time.
Called innings, in baseball games. Of course,
but let me tell you, McKnight's the best guy out there, I guarantee you.
I don't know. There's some real good guys on the Birmingham market. I wouldn't be surprised to come in.
How do you know? Have you heard them do play-by-play before?
Yeah, I've heard a few of them. They're Auburn's got to find the right fit. So I mean, I'm sure a lot of the guys will be.
Why wouldn't McKnight be the right fit? He's been an Auburn fan all his life, I believe. He grew up in Florida.
He's a Florida grad.
Yeah, I know it. But he's
also,
been
interesting news: LSU has gone out and hired former USC coach John Robinson as a senior consultant under Joel Orgeron. So John Robinson at 83 years old.
That's what I'm saying. He's got to be old.
Will now be a senior consultant and be involved in daily planning and practice, personnel of game planning at 83 years old.
Isn't that amazing?
Of course, he won a national championship at USC. Was a good coach there, and also coached for several years for the Los Angeles Rams.
Well, Johnny Williams is good friends with him, and McInerney coached under him not only at Las Vegas, UNLV, but also at Southern Cal. And Johnny was always impressed with him and as a coach.
Robinson was at USC from 76 to 82.
That's right.
And then he came back and was the coach from 93 to 97. Also directed the Los Angeles Rams from 83 to 91 and was at UNLV from 1999 to 2004. He won the UPI national championship in 78. I thought Alabama won the national championship in 78. And finished second in the nation in both 1977 and 1979. His overall record as a college coach was 132.77, including 5 conference championships and 8-1 record in bowl games. That's a great bowl.
Yeah, no question about it. Most of them are Rose Bowls, too.
His Trojans split a pair of meetings with Alabama, losing 21-20 in Los Angeles in 1977, and then winning 24-14 in Birmingham in 1978. And he also had a winning record in pro football, 75 and 68. So he is a good coach.
Of course, the Troy 6 and under tournament team is looking to win back-to-back state champions. Head coach Scott Ross believes last year's 6 and under tournament team laid the foundation for future success, and that's going to be going on soon, and will be played here in this is the 6 and under coach pitch state championships right here at the Troy Rec Center facility, or the Bo Gaylord complex. We need to get that straight. We need that facility to be the Bo Gaylord Sportsplex. That's what the name of that should be. He's the one that, and I don't think there'd be anybody with any problem with it. Right now they call it the Troy Rec Center. Call it the Bo Gaylord Sportsplex. Let's put he was a great man, and it was his dream to build that facility, and he did. He pretty much built it, and of course,
so you really had conversations with Bo way before that ever got built about that?
Oh yeah, we did, and and Dan Smith, of course, was his right-hand man, and we love Dan, and I wouldn't want to do anything that he wasn't for, but it's just sort of they call it the Troy Rec Center, and then mention Bo's name secondary. What I'd like to see is the Bo Gaylord Sportsplex in Troy, Alabama. Back to the Sportsplex, Bo Gaylord Sportsplex. And it's a beautiful facility. It was built for softball years ago, and they've got, they have 3 pie-shaped fields on both ends, and it was a great softball complex. Now they have learned after going to Rock Hill, South Carolina, they found out you can take a softball field and make a great girls softball field, or at the same time a boys Dixie Youth or Dixie boys baseball facility. It's a great facility.
The big thing is they have the Miracle League as well.
Yeah, you do. You've got it out there too, and also, and all of these things were dreams of Bo Gaylord had, and they put it off to make sure it was right. And when they built it right. It's one of the top rec centers in the entire country, or at least this part of the country. I promise you. And if you'd like to join and be a part of that Sportsplex, all you got to do is go out there, and the membership is very reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't live in Troy and hadn't in several years, but they finally opened it up to the whole city to enjoy as well. Whenever they opened that road up, that was one of the best decisions somebody in Troy has ever made.
Yeah, you mean
it's really been great to have that from George Wallace.
That's right. You can get
for
there.
college kids, I would imagine, because that light has always been one of the longest lights ever. Turning off 231, heading towards Elba or Enterprise.
Yeah, you're right. And again, it's shaping up beautifully, and of course we've got great facilities for state tournaments in baseball and softball, and of course we have a swimming program.
And they also have batting cages out there too for all these crazy baseball kids in Troy.
Oh yeah, a good one. And they got indoor-outdoor swimming pools. They've got basketball arenas. They got two big-time basketball courts.
I still think that Troy is a town that used to have you got the Troy Country Club, of course, but of course you had a public course with Troy University and Trojan Oaks. I always still think a driving range somewhere out of that sportsplex facility would be good.
And they've got room for it. I wish they would look into it. Also, ladies and gentlemen, the weight facilities are next to none, and they've got, walking machines. They probably got 25 or 30 walking machines, and as you walk, you can watch TV. And then the weight facilities, they got machine weights and free weights. It's wonderful. They got racquetball courts. Our guy here loves their racquetball courts. Scott, and Scott really loves that. But I told him, I said, "Really, you like it? Not a lot of people know how to play racquetball." But also an outdoor walking trail over 2 miles long, and it's a wonderful, beautiful walking trail if you've ever tried it. But all of this is available to the public. It's located on Highway 161, 84, 161 South, 167 South on. And you turn left at
Troy's version of the YMCA, I guess.
You turn left at Pinker's Grocery, or Sarah, if you want to call it, too.
I haven't been through Troy in a long time. What's the latest on the Troy University Rec Center? Is it about ready to go?
Well, it is. It's coming hard, and it's going to be a fabulous, fabulous facility and of course, it's going to house all kinds of rec facilities for students at Troy, walking trails. They're going to have weight facilities, machine weights, and free weights.
Will they have an indoor track inside there as well?
Yeah, they'll have an indoor walking track in there. They'll have.
That'll be great. That makes me feel good for all the international students that always, you would see walking late at night at the track. Now they can go there and use that facility when it gets cold.
They're going to have a restaurant in there, Mike. They're going to have a lot of wonderful
What kind of restaurant? Like a national chain restaurant?
I don't know what, but they're going to have a restaurant in there, and it's going to be nice. And
I wonder if that'll be open on
outdoor
game days
swimming pool
before football and baseball.
I don't know how they'll do that, but they have an outdoor swimming pool, and which is going to be very nice. And it's state of the art. It's beautiful, beautiful. And a good friend of mine, Jack Morrison, was here, and he lives out in 15 miles from Baylor University in Waco, and he said, Waco's beautiful and got a lot, but no more beautiful than Troy University. He was very impressed with it.
Yeah, was I good visiting him?
Oh yeah, and let me tell you this: I was in Ozark, and you folks in Ozark hear this. What a wonderful, wonderful send-off you gave my good friend Odie Marshall, or Doug Marshall, like y'all call him. I always call him Odie. But he was one of the great people of all time, Doug Marshall was. And the funeral yesterday, Mike, was at the Catholic Church, St. John's Catholic Church in Ozark. And it was a small church, but packed with some of the nicest people you'll find anywhere. I'm talking about as good-looking a crowd of people as I've been around lately, and it was packed, and a lot of them were people I knew. It was almost like a reunion there. People were gathered together, and Odie and his wife, Erlina, Odie was from Montgomery and went to Robert E. Lee High School, then went to Auburn, and where he was very well known at Auburn. And lived in Ozark, gosh, I want to say 45 years, maybe it was a long time.
What did he do for a living in Ozark?
He was in the insurance business, and of course he had some other income coming in from other places. But his wife, Erlina, was a wonderful teacher in the Ozark school system, and a lot of her former students, I'm sure, came back to pay her respects along with her husband, and it was a wonderful, wonderful ceremony. You folks in Ozark really gave him a great send-off, and so very well done, and it honored a wonderful, wonderful man in Doug Marshall, and of course we call him Odie, and he was a household word at Auburn when he went there. You folks that knew Doug, I can remember sitting in the stands at an Auburn football game, and you started hearing this little chant, Odie, 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 Odie. And it was Odie Marshall walking up the steps to his seat. But I would say from 3,000 to 5,000 people were chanting the name Odie, 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 Odie. Wonderful guy. That's right. He was a well-known guy, and everybody loved him, and everybody in Ozark loved him. Or let's just say this. If you knew Odie, you loved him. He was a great guy. And, again, very wonderful ceremony on behalf of to honor not only Odie's life and Odie as a person, and his motto was put a smile on your face. After he would meet you, he'd say put a smile on your face. And of course he was honored by a huge, huge crowd at St. John's Catholic Church yesterday in Ozark. Very impressed with the people and the way that funeral was handled, and his beautiful wife, Erlena, and two beautiful twin daughters and son. They had to be very honored by what their community did for them yesterday. And friends, as we mentioned...
Troy's football team has come out with their new numbers for the coming football season. A lot of number changes have been made, so I'll go over a few of those here in a second. Of course, there's still a few guys that probably will be coming as graduate transfers, and a few guys that are coming, I guess, for the freshmen that will be enrolled in August, and a few other maybe junior college guys as well. So far, the roster, though, at Troy for 2019, some of the changes I was looking at, you're going to have Carlson Marshall, the great linebacker, who was a freshman All-American, will now wear number 2. Reggie Todd, the transfer from Mississippi State, will be number 2 as well. A guy named Kalon Geiger will be number 1. He's a JUCO guy out of Navarre, Florida. And then the Wisenhunt kid out of Ramsey High School, junior linebacker, will now be number 3 as well.
Mike, is he related to Wisenhunt that played at Vanderbilt that was so good?
I don't know. Yeah. And then Will Cholo, who wore number 95 last year, the big defensive tackle out of Georgia, will now be number 5.
Number 5, the nose guard, yeah.
You also got a linebacker out of Alabaster that's a really good young player. KJ Robinson will be number 7. Locally, a kid that played Applied Liberal Arts, I guess he was a snapper, is now moved to wide receiver. I know his dad, Lee, pretty well. Tyler Hussey is now wearing number 14.
Tyler Hussey is playing wide receiver? I didn't know that.
6'1", 201.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. He is a fine young player, and I knew he was going to do some snapping and going down on kicks and so forth. I'm glad to see him doing well.
Josh May is the running back, changed numbers. He's going to be wearing number 25. And then I was looking down the depth chart yesterday, and an interesting name popped up. A senior wide receiver is transferred in from Southern Miss. He played at Satsuma, Alabama High School, but of course his dad is the head coach at Luverne High School.
That's right.
Reed Riles is now on the Troy roster.
Hello, South Montgomery Academy.
Reed Riles, 6'1", 185, will play his senior year at Troy, so he is transferred in from Southern Miss.
Well, good. And he played a lot at Southern, didn't he?
He played a little bit. He played in 6 games last year. In a sophomore, he played in all 13 games. He held for both extra points and field goals. In high school, though, he had really good numbers. I was looking, he passed for nearly 4,000
you mean as a
400
quarterback?
Yards, 400 yards receiving and 800 yards rushing. 2 of those years were at Elba, and 2 of those years were at Satsuma.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, his dad is the head football coach at Luverne High School, and like you said, he was born and raised. His dad was born and raised out at Raymer, Alabama, and went to South Montgomery Academy, and his boys, of course, went with him when he coached at Elba and at Satsuma. I'm glad to see that, and I hope he does well.
Looking at Troy's defensive front, that's where I'm kind of concerned. I mean, we got a lot of young guys, but not a lot of experience on that defensive front. That's something that I'm kind of concerned about coming into the season.
Yeah.
You got Marcus Webb back, who's a senior, the kid out of Decatur. That's been really good. And then you add Zoe Bridges back. He's a guy out of Opelika High School who had grade issues, had to sit out a year. But you add him back at defensive end, 6'3", 230.
He's a good one.
So he's a good one that should help. And then there's a lot of really young guys on that defensive front. And they've really got to come along.
Let me tell you something, Mike, and I wanted to share this with you the other day. I see them walking around a lot in the cafeteria, and then I see them out at Walmart and different places. Mike, Troy's recruiting giants now. I mean, their players are bigger and stronger looking than I've ever seen at Troy. I mean, real physical-looking kids on the offensive side and defensive side.
Field the last 3 years, 31-8. That's one of the best records in America.
I know it, no question about it. These guys are physical looking, real physical, and let me tell you this.
They're going to have to be physical, and they lost, like we've already mentioned, 3 starters on defense that could have been back. They lost Tron Folsom, they lost Marcus Jones, they lost Murray at safety. So I mean, they're losing some guys that could have been helping them.
Well, and let me tell you this too, and I'm not trying to be a smart aleck about this, but I will tell you this, that I was told by a couple of more than one assistant coach was, when I asked him, I said, what happened to these guys? Well, they didn't necessarily leave. I mean, it wasn't just them leaving. It was maybe us leaving them. Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying.
So it was kind of a mutual decision to part ways.
It was a mutual decision to part ways. Yeah, a few times, no question about it. I like this this scheme, and I like the way they're really advertising.
One thing about Coning that I definitely liked, he played an aggressive defense. Troy definitely got after the quarterback, and I'm hoping Brandon Hall will be the same way.
Let me tell you a little bit about Brandon Hall, and this is impressive. He was around Oklahoma's program for a long time. In fact, I want to say he might have played at Oklahoma.
No, he didn't play at Oklahoma, but he was an analyst.
He was an analyst at Oklahoma, the Sooners, good program. And then he followed my man at Clemson, the defensive coordinator at Clemson, and he was under him for a long period of time at Oklahoma and then later at Clemson.
Yeah, because Brent Venables left Oklahoma, went to Clemson.
So this guy he has to have some great knowledge of what he's doing on the defensive side. And then he coached at Jacksonville State on some pretty good defensive teams there. Is that right?
Yeah, for 1AA, yeah, no doubt.
And so he's been there and done that, and I think we're in good shape with him. And the guy he brought with him from Jacksonville is the linebacker coach. They say he's a real good coach.
Yeah, he says he was at Arkansas State for 1 year.
Which is a good program, a good defensive program, and a good program to...
Gus Malzahn, so that's kind of how the relationship, I guess, with Lindsey was there.
Yeah, okay. Because he was at Auburn for a while, too, or what?
He was at Jacksonville State. At Jack State, he was at Jack State for 4 years as a co-defense coordinator.
Okay. And so
the Jacksonville State's defense was ranked 20th nationally in each of Hall's 4 seasons, including a pair of top 5 units his last 2 years with the program. It said that he started his career at Oklahoma as a analyst and a grad assistant. So
We're talking about Troy's defensive coordinator. Tell us a little bit about their offensive coordinator, who was a great player.
I think he played at Central Oklahoma.
Yeah, good program. I will say this, that our offensive coordinator is young, but Mike, he was considered one of the best linemen of a decade at Auburn. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I met his dad several times over the years, Tony Pugh, who's a legendary old-school high school coach.
Where did he coach at, Mike?
He coached up at Clay Chalville and...
Oh, yeah, great programs up there, yeah.
Around the Birmingham area. He was at Trussville, I think, for a while. And
was he the head coach or assistant coach?
He was a head coach and an assistant coach.
Clay Chalville had some great teams.
He was at some other schools, too, up in Decatur, Huntsville area, too.
Yeah.
I can't think of the names right now. But, yeah, you're talking about Ryan Pugh.
Yeah, who played at Auburn. And
he was a four-year starter at Auburn. And also was coaching at BYU, of all places.
I know it,
as a line coach when Troy ended up getting him because he was with J.D. Grimes, the former Auburn offensive line coach.
Yeah. I tell you one thing about him.
Before that, he was at Texas San Antonio.
I tell you what, he's not the type guy you want to talk back to. He's a physical-looking guy. Have you ever seen him? About 6'5", and probably, of course, when he played, he weighed right at 300, but he's a physical guy that really gets on top of folks and gets in what I call he'll get in your lap,
Yeah, I mean, for a young guy, he's coached a lot of places. At Cincinnati when Tuberville was there. Then he was at Texas San Antonio, and then he was at BYU. So he's a guy that's only 30 years old, and his offensive coordinator, pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's going to be a big-time coach one day if he's not already one.
I mean, let's just go ahead and say it, just like we always said with Neil Brown. I mean, Chip Lindsey's going to call the plays just like Neil Brown did.
Yeah, no question, and rightfully so, rightfully so. Now, tell us a little bit about the receivers coach. Now, one of them we've had, stayed here and it built quite a reputation as a coach, but he was also sort of a household word in high school football before he came to Troy.
Yeah, well, Pugh and Cornelius Williams played together in high school at Hoover.
Oh, okay. Now, and they were on that TV show. Is that right?
I don't know if Pugh was, but I know Cornelius Williams was.
Cornelius Williams wore number 1, ladies and gentlemen. And when they used to televise all these Hoover games nationwide, he was the star of the show. Didn't he score 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns in one game one time at Hoover?
I'm sure he did. I mean, as much as Rush Probst liked to throw the ball.
And then, of course, he came to Troy.
He got promoted up to passing game coordinator outside receivers.
Yeah. And, of course, he played at Hoover under some good coaches and played at Troy, wide receiver, and very good. He was one of those guys, if you threw it to him, he wouldn't drop it,
Yeah, he's another guy that was, at UAB. When UAB shut down the program, he was the wide receivers coach there. And before that was at Jacksonville State. So he, of course, played all 4 years at Troy and had a really good career at Troy.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. And it's good that Coach Lindsey was able to keep him,
Yeah, they kept him and they kept Bam Harmon, which,
boy, Bam Harmon, tell us about him. What a great coach he is.
He was promoted to defensive run game coordinator, outside linebacker, bandit. So that was big to keep him. Of course, he played at Florida and then played in the NFL for, I think, 5 or 6 years as well.
I've been told that he's one of the best players to ever play at Florida. Have you ever heard that?
I mean, I know he was...
There's been a lot of great players to play at Florida, but they said this guy was the real deal. And what a great coach he's made, too. Tell us about him, Mike.
I mean, he's been at Troy now, I guess, since... he's been at Troy now for, I think, 3 or 4 years. 5th season at Troy, actually. Before that, he was at Idaho, of all places.
Yeah.
And then he was also at Illinois with Big Coney when Big Coney was there.
Yeah, I got you. So now we know the rest of the story. Everything has a story behind it, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the coach of Florida, ended up getting the Illinois job. I can't remember his name.
Oh, yeah, I remember him well.
But, Harmon at Florida was a 4-year letterman at linebacker, was the team's captain in 2002 as a senior.
Yeah. And, of course, can really coach. And, and to keep him, that was a big deal for Troy, don't you think?
Yeah, some of these guys didn't want to, I guess, make the move to West Virginia. Some of these guys were, local and tied into to the state or the Southeast region. And trust me, Neil Brown took everybody else.
Well, I know. Well, you think about it, Williams has been here, he's been here 10 years probably, hasn't he?
I think he took 12 guys from the previous staff. Some of them were off the field, and then some of them were, in administration positions. And, but Brown took over 12 guys to West Virginia with him.
I tell you what, they took a recruiting guru with them, too. I thought was outstanding. He'll help.
You're talking about that Brandon Bennett?
Yeah, Bennett was a real good recruiter. And
then you got Brian Blackman, the special teams coordinator, running backs coach.
One of the finest young men you'll ever meet, I promise you.
He was at Opelika High School. I actually went to school with him at Troy. He was about 3 years older than me, but he is a guy that was at Auburn as an analyst when Lindsey was there, and then kind of was a natural fit once he got put on Neil's staff last year, that a lot of people thought he would stay with Lindsey.
I would say that Opelika is one of the top 5 programs in Alabama. When you at the high school level, wouldn't you say that at least?
Yeah, but they haven't won a lot of state championships. They've been there to that game a lot, but they've never won the big one.
Yeah.
Of course, he had lost the heartbreaker of all heartbreakers a couple of years ago or 3 years ago to Ramsey. Ramsey, a school that hadn't had football in 30 years, started football back, and within 3 or 4 years won a state championship in 6A. It's still kind of unheard of what they did. Then you got Ray Brown, quarterbacks coach. He's a guy that came from Texas. John Carr.
Wait a minute. Hold on there. Tell me a little bit about Brown.
We had mentioned him when they hired him. He's a guy that came from Abilene Christian.
Ray Brown.
Yeah, Ray Brown.
Okay, and what will he be coaching?
He was at Arizona State.
Okay, now the rest of the story there, yeah. Where Coach Lindsey had gone out. How long was he at Arizona? Just 1 year?
Yeah, Lindsey was on there 1 year.
And they met this young man out there, and they liked him, and so they brought him on with him. Is that right?
Yeah, he's coaching cornerbacks.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned John Carr was at, I think...
Boy, I like this guy.
He was at La Monroe last year.
Yeah, and I really like this guy.
Receivers coach.
Yeah, he's a good coach and a good guy. I like him a lot.
Now, he's been at all the junior colleges. He's been at Jones. And
see, it helps to be able to have that kind of recruiting experience, too,
Yeah, he's also, we mentioned his father was inducted in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. He was a 2-time All-American wide receiver at Louisiana Tech. And spent 10 years in the National Football League.
I want to say he played with Baltimore Colts.
Seahawks and the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, you're right. He's a football coach, I tell you, and I really like him.
But his connection was with Lindsey too. He was at Southern Miss when Lindsey was there.
Yeah, that makes. And let me tell you something. Don't ever anybody that ever says anything negative about Monroe. Hey, it's one of the toughest teams Troy's had to play for years.
It's definitely a tough place to go, I know that.
Huh?
It's definitely a tough place to go, I know that. It's out in the middle of nowhere, it seems like.
Yeah.
Then you got Andrew Wark. He's the guy that came from Jacksonville State. He was the defense coordinator at Jacksonville State, so they got him to come down.
Yeah, that'll tell you a little bit about programs,
He was at Clemson for 6 years.
He was. Did he coach on the main staff at Clemson? Or did he...
No, he was a graduate assistant and an analyst.
Yeah, I got you.
But,
so they say he's a good coach. They say he's a real good coach, and I like him, yeah.
And then after that, you got Cole Weeks. He played quarterback at Southern Miss, was a graduate assistant at Auburn for 2 years. So, of course, he was there when Lindsey was there.
Yeah, he's a real young coach, and Coach Lindsey really likes him.
Yeah, he's from right down the road. I'll have to ask some people if I ever run anybody from Freeport, but he's from Freeport, Florida, which is literally about 10 miles from Grayton.
Yeah, you're right. Across the bay. Okay, tell us. Is that it?
We already mentioned Cornelius Williams, and then you got Davern Williams, the former
Oh,
Troy
boy,
great
I saw
player,
Davern yesterday, yeah.
who is now at Troy. He was at Jacksonville State. He was at Scuba, East Mississippi Community College. He was at Chattanooga for 1 year. So this guy has been in a lot of places, Murray State, Jacksonville State. Got his 2-year start at Huntington College in Montgomery. Of course, he's from Montgomery. So.
Oh, yeah, played at Jeff Davis, and great guy, great player at Troy. He's gonna really help Troy a lot.
He's a guy that was 7th-round selection by the Miami Dolphins in the 2003 draft. Spent his rookie season on injured reserve before joining the New York Giants the following year. He saw action in 3 games with the Giants, including 1 start and a total of 7 tackles. So he did play in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. I'm going to put you on hold, Mike. I'll be right back. Good morning. You on Today in L.A.? How you doing?
Hey, Mike. Will Matthews.
Will Matthews, brother. Let me bring Mike in here, and we're going to talk. I'm going to put you on hold. That should do it. Are we on? Got both of you?
I'm on.
Mike?
I don't think Michael's on.
Well, I don't know how we lost him. Did we lose him? Will, good to hear from you this morning. And, of course, Will Matthews from the Matthews Law Firm in downtown Ozark. You getting ready for a big 4th?
Oh, I guess so.
Will, I can't get over how impressed I was. Now, you say you impressed with a crowd of people. Yesterday at Doug Marshall, you might know him as, his funeral yesterday in Ozark at the
Methodist Church, yeah.
No, it was at the Catholic Church.
Oh, is?
Yeah, it was at the, I want to say John's, St. John's Catholic Church.
Oh, okay. I thought he was a Methodist.
No, he and his wife were Catholic. Now, I think he might have been Methodist at one time, but his wife was Catholic. And, of course, she was a well-known teacher, Erlena.
What did he...
Well, he I'm not going to get into it, but he did have Parkinson's. I know that was one of the problems, but I don't think that's what killed him. But, I have Parkinson's, and...
Not that old, was
well, he was... Mike, you on? Hello? Will, he was... I tell you how old he was. He was 75 years old.
Well, that's older than I thought he was.
And, had the twin girls, beautiful girls. They're both married now. One lives in at the beach, and another one lives in Birmingham.
Yeah, his wife taught all 4 of my children.
Yeah. She was, of course, everybody loves Erlena, and, and then anybody that knew Doug Marshall, they loved him. He's a great guy. Big tennis player, and it was the show of love and respect for that family yesterday impressed me. That Catholic church, have you ever been in that Catholic church?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was packed. I mean, it was just packed. And everybody, I shouldn't say this because I'll hurt somebody's feelings, but it was almost like everybody who was anybody in Ozark was there. I mean, I saw some old friends I hadn't seen in years.
Yeah.
Cy Lisenby, I saw Cy yesterday, Jack Jackson, and it was just great seeing all those folks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're great people.
Yeah, and again, we lost. Ozark lost a fine citizen, and of course, I'm sure Erlena will probably stay in Ozark. Hopefully, she will.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What's going on with you, my friend?
Just working. I'm down here sitting at my desk waiting for my people to show up.
Yeah, of course. Where you gonna be on the 4th?
I'm gonna go to the beach.
Are you gonna go to the Yellow House, or where you gonna be?
No, I'm gonna go down. We got a group going down to play golf.
Oh, really? Well, that sounds like fun. Where y'all gonna play?
We're gonna play at Camp Creek.
Yeah. Saw Sam Judah yesterday, and he's been a great sponsor of my show, as you are, and I appreciate Sam Judah. I really like I like those Ozark guys. Great, there's some fine people in Ozark.
Does Ozark play Troy this year in football?
No, that I don't. Well, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Home and away.
Excuse me.
Home and away.
Home and away, we do play Carroll. Yeah, we play them this year. We play. You know who we open up with is Enterprise.
Oh Lord, that'll be.
Well, you know what? The last few times Troy's played them, they beat them. You know, Charles Henderson's a pretty good program. You know, and of course Carroll High of Ozark's a good program. And Troy, let me tell you what they did. They won a 7-on-7. You know, that's where you put 7 of your best players on 7. They won the 7-on-7, and there were some of the big schools in Birmingham and Mobile there, and Montgomery.
Enterprise got a new football coach.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have him on our show soon. He came from Apopka, Florida, the new head coach at Enterprise, and you know, guess what he runs? Will, this makes you shudder. He runs the Notre Dame box.
Oh Lord.
The last person to run the Notre Dame box, he might have been before you were born. Coach Higginbotham, Maurice Higginbotham, ran the Notre Dame box for Enterprise for years, and some of Enterprise's greatest teams were under Maurice Higginbotham, the great coach.
That's way before I was.
I know. Have you ever heard of him, though? You ever heard of that guy?
I never heard of him.
You know, both his boys played at Alabama. He later on moved to Tuscaloosa County, and of course retired there. But his boys, both of them, played at Alabama.
Right.
Well, are you getting excited about football?
Yeah, I've got an app on my phone.
Yeah.
And it is, just so you know, it's 53 days, 10 hours, 6 minutes, and 40 seconds until football starts.
Okay, and that'll be the first ball game of the season. And
The first ball game is Miami against Florida.
That's right. That's going to be a great game to open it up, won't it?
That'll open the season, Miami and Florida, and then the next weekend's when Alabama and Auburn.
Yeah. Will, going back to the beach, where are you going to eat down there this weekend? Where are some of your places? Do you ever go to Dusty's?
Yeah, I've never eaten at Dusty's.
Oh, man, if you like raw oysters and like good fried oysters and shrimp and crab claws, you can't beat Dusty's.
Oh, Dusty's Oyster Bar, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you know, right there at the Y.
Yeah, I've eaten there before. Yeah, it's good.
And, of course, you've been going down there a long time. Of course, one of your favorite stops is Thomas's Donuts.
Oh, yeah.
And you know the secret now is call them on the phone and order your donuts, and then come pick them up while the rest of the people are standing there. You know.
Yeah, I know that's smart.
Yeah, no question about it. Will Matthews is our guest, and Will, tell us about Trump going to Korea.
You know, it was a complete
North Korea.
Yeah, it was a complete surprise. Nobody knew he was going to do it. He was over in Japan. And he did it. He unannounced. He did it. He just flew over there.
He couldn't have done that unless he had gone unannounced because of the security situation.
Right. He didn't tell anybody he's going to do it. He flew over there and went right up there and met him at the line there. And they met for about an hour.
Yeah.
And of course, it doesn't matter what Trump does. Democrats don't complain.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it was one of the best moves that he could play. Let me tell you this. This guy, you know, you better respect this guy because, you know, he can hurt you. And at the same time, you know, if our president had some kind of relationship with him, I can't see it being nothing but good. What do you think?
Well, he's the first president to ever set foot in that country.
Yeah.
And I think when he strikes this deal with China, I think everybody's going to realize, you know, we've been getting screwed by China.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we got a $500 billion deficit crazy with China.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But now, and you're exactly right. And it can't be anything but good if we can work out good relationships with these folks. And like you said, China realizes that it's going to hurt them more than it's going to hurt us.
And we've got something China needs.
What is that? Food? Food. You would think they would have food, though, as big a country as that is.
Mike, think about it. They got 1 billion people.
I know it.
I mean, that's a lot of mouths to feed.
And India, right next to it's got almost 1 billion people. Did you know that? India, they say India is going to surpass China. China doesn't allow you to have but a certain amount of children. They are right on top of that.
Yeah, India has already surpassed China in population.
And also economically, India is really fast growing. They're smart people. A lot of the Indians are smart people.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we're talking to Will Matthews from Ozark this morning. Guess who I saw? Will, I saw my buddy Bearfield yesterday at the funeral, and tell you what, he's a good guy. I like him.
He is.
Of course, he had one of the great men's stores in America at Bearfield's in downtown Ozark. When we introduced him to my wife, I said, Carol, this is Bearfield. And she knew exactly who I was talking about.
Oh, yeah. He's something else.
Yeah. Of course, downtown Ozark is a lot like downtown Troy. You're starting to put some restaurants downtown and make it a sort of a lively place to go.
Yeah, they're trying to get it back going again, which is good.
Well, I want to tell you this, and people say, how do you know this? I can look at people and tell what kind of community people a lot of them are. And I tell you, Ozark's got a wonderful bunch of people that still live there, and their family's been living there for years. Is that right?
Right, yeah.
Your family's been in Ozark, what? How long?
Well, I mean, way before 1900, in 1800.
Yeah. Want to mention Bill Jackson Chevrolet, Will, to you today, and also Bill Jackson Ford. They own the Ford dealership and the Chevrolet dealership in Troy now. Bill Jackson Ford on the bypass, Bill Jackson Chevrolet on the bypass.
Oh, I want to tell you what next week is, don't you?
Well, I don't know.
The World Championship Domino.
Dominoes, yeah, I was wondering. So in Andalusia, it starts next week.
Next Friday.
All right, next Friday and Saturday. That would be what, the 12th? What would be that date?
12th and 13th.
Yeah, and of course, you have won that thing before, haven't you, Will?
I have.
Will, people say, well, this guy, he proclaims himself to be the third best domino player in the world. Do you still proclaim that, Will?
I don't. There's a guy in Oklahoma that races the domino players. I don't know what I am now, but last year I was ranked number 3.
Yeah, and now they rate those as singles players and doubles players. You always play doubles, don't you?
I do.
And of course, anybody that would like to play in this tournament, regardless of how good you are, can go down, sign up, and play. Isn't that right?
That's right.
And they always say they played in the World Championship. I might do it myself.
And first place is $5,000.
I've got the tape, Will, of Bear Bryant and our great comedian from Yazoo City, Mississippi, Jerry Clower. I got a tape of Jerry Clower and Bear Bryant being at the Andalusia Domino Tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Will Matthews is on our line, and of course, Will, I hate to get back into politics, but I will. Right now, if they voted tomorrow, who would be the next president of the United States?
Donald John Trump.
Donald John. You mean, wait a minute. I've never heard that middle name before. Donald John, is that his name?
That's right.
Hey, most people don't introduce him as Donald John, though, do they?
They play Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, Donald J. Okay, now I know what the J means. I really didn't know.
Yeah.
Your son had worked for him, and ladies and gentlemen, it's a lot about who you know, and of course, you were good friends with our state senator from Mobile. Tell us the story.
Jeff Sessions.
All right, you and Jeff Sessions are good personal. Have you talked to him much since he left the office?
One time, and he's back in Mobile, and he's retired for good and enjoying his grandbaby.
You know, Dr. Doug Hawkins here in Troy, the late Doug Hawkins, was real close friends with him.
Yeah, Sessions is a great man. There's no question about it.
How does he still support the president? Or
Believe it or not, he does.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and he's going to be involved in the campaign next year.
Well, I know this, that by you knowing Jeff Sessions, it helped you launch a career for your son. Isn't that right?
Well, he got Trump on the phone, and you know, Trump asked him, he said, "Can that young man be in Wisconsin tomorrow?" And I said, "Oh yeah." I drove him at 7 o'clock in the morning and put him on an airplane in March of 2016.
All right, let's go over that one more time. Now, you were there with Sessions at a meeting or what?
Right, we were at a meeting in Montgomery.
Republican committee meeting or something?
Well, no, it was the delegates going to Cleveland.
Yeah.
And we had a meeting of Trump delegates. I think there were 37 that got elected statewide. And there were about 20 at the meeting, and the rest of them called in, on cell phones. And I was sitting next to Jeff, and he said, "I like your son. He needs to get involved in the campaign." I said, "Jeff, I don't know anything about it."
And at the time, your son didn't have a job either, did he?
Well, he was working for me, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. That's right, yeah.
And so anyway, Sessions pulls out his cell phone and calls Donald Trump on the telephone.
Thank you.
And Donald Trump said, "Can that young man be in Wisconsin?"
Wait a minute.
I said, "Sure."
So he calls Donald Trump while y'all are sitting there and tells him that I got a job for him in Wisconsin.
Well, and so we're driving back to Dothan. David was living with me in Dothan, and I called American Express, and I got an airplane ticket to Eau Claire, Wisconsin. He's been with Trump ever since. And that's
Did y'all have time to pack his bags?
we stayed up. We never went to bed. I mean, he had to, and we didn't know where to put warm clothes in there, or because it was March.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
And we packed him up and sent him off. Well, he was in Wisconsin about a week.
Yeah. And now another thing we can say, of course, he worked with Trump on the presidential campaign and ended up over in Pennsylvania and really had a real experience, there in Pennsylvania. But he met a young lady, is that right?
That's right. He met the girl he married in Pennsylvania.
Met her in Pennsylvania. They now have a child.
And they got another on the way.
Well, the great thing is, all this happened over a 3 or 4 year period, and your son, because of that little visit with your friend in Mobile, changed his whole life around, didn't it?
Well, he's got a big job in Washington. He is Trump's liaison to the agriculture department. He loves it. He loves his job.
So the farming community, he's involved quite a bit with on what Trump's doing across the world with our farmers.
And they're really doing a lot of good things, too.
Well, now, one thing about it, though, we got a lot of farmers that are sort of upset with Trump right now. Is that right?
Not after they pass that bailout.
Somebody told me you can't drive to Hartford, you can't drive to Sampson, you can't drive to Geneva, because you and your bunch have they're not making as much money as they normally do.
Don't believe everything you hear.
Tell us about that situation.
Well, he's cutting a deal with China. China's going to be buying so much food from us, it's not even funny. The farmer's going to be back doing better than they've ever done.
China's not real upset with us, but the key is they got to have us, don't they?
They need us more than we need them.
Yeah.
You got to eat more than you got to buy TV for. You know.
Exactly right. And of course, we're talking to Will Matthews, Judge Will Matthews from Ozark, Alabama, and of course, you're looking for a great law firm, the Matthews Law Firm in Ozark. We got to go. Will, we appreciate talking to you. Hope you have a great 4th, my friend.
You too, Mike. Please.
Bye-bye. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hi, I was just calling Mike.
Mike Amos calling in from the beaches of Florida. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm calling from Graton Beach.
Yeah. Of course, tell us some of the great restaurants.
I'm going to make the drive up to Seaside tomorrow night and have a supper with an old friend, Richard Calhoun, and his wife, Brittany Little Calhoun, tomorrow night. So all our families will get together. It'll be fun.
And that's at the, of course, he'll be staying at the Calhoun Bunker, or what do they call it?
The Hickory Street Hilton. They're right next to Seaside proper. So,
and what are they? What are they?
The big 4th of July parade will be coming right by their house come Thursday morning.
And that is a big event, but the problem is, don't get caught in this traffic. What I'm saying, you can be blocked for hours.
Blocked off. There's no way you can get caught.
I know, but you can be blocked for hours if you park in the wrong place down there, because people will hang out down there around the seaside all day long and into the night, won't they, for the fireworks?
Well, it's watercolor too. So watercolor and Seaside will be packed.
But it's an all-day affair.
That's what I told my wife. I said it's crazy that we're literally probably 3 miles from their house, but we might go 98 and come down to actually go to that.
And get it where you don't get blocked in, or you could be there all night long. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true.
But it's beautiful, and and it'll be a crowded place. And where did you say you're going to eat?
We're just going to their house.
Oh, okay. And of course, Calhoun.
I'm going to do all I can not to go to restaurants this week. It's probably just going to be too crazy.
Yeah. Tell us, the Red Bar is closed, but they're building it back. But tell us about.
They had started building it back, so anybody out there that thinks that they can go to the Red Bar anytime in the rest of 2019, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at probably into January, February of 2020, I'd say.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about some other restaurants. You frequented them quite a bit right there at the Graton area.
Well, I mean, our favorite place is Baraga, the Italian restaurant that's been down here for years, and then you got Graton Brewery has our Graton Beer Company has a brewery that they've turned into a restaurant, a brew house that's pretty good as far as definite kind of bar food, I guess, but has some pretty good stuff. And then another place that's really good is Chanticleer. It's the sandwich place that we go to a lot. They have great Reubens and great, actually great pork and great sandwiches if you like BLTs and you like, any kind of, roast beef or French dip. Those are good. And then there's a good Asian infused restaurant called Nambu, if you like noodle bowls and stuff like that. That's really good. Then they've got Taringo on the beach that's across from the Red Bar that has really good seafood and sandwiches and stuff like that as well. I mean, those are some of our favorite places walking distance. Yeah. I mean...
Is the Growler Garage in Santa Rosa any good?
Is the what?
The Growler Garage. Have you ever Growler's Garage? Have you ever heard of that in Santa Rosa?
Yeah, that's near Guff Place. Yeah, it's pretty popular. But the new popular place on there is called Shunk Gully, which is owned by the Floribama, and it's
really?
A big 2-story restaurant bar where you actually have bands and stuff like that. And
where's
really
that
good.
located, Mike? Where's that located?
It's in Guff Place, Blue Mountain.
I'm staying right across the street from that Growler's Garage come August.
David Doty, Mike, is going to be staying there in August.
Yeah, that's a great area down there. You got Pizza by the Sea, and you got a Perfect Pig restaurant, which is really good for breakfast and really good.
Perfect. Wait a minute. You mean Perfect Pig restaurant is good for breakfast?
Yeah, actually, they've got like 3 locations down here now. So
Well,
it's a lot of fun.
It sounds like a barbecue place.
Well, I mean, they have pork as well, yeah. There's no doubt about that. But it's definitely, this area down here is growing so much. I mean, you got the original goat feathers down there as well. You got local catch. You got, several other restaurants in the Blue Mountain area as well.
And also
a new restaurant
a soon-to-be famous ice cream place down there, Mike. Tell us about them.
Yeah, that's Blue Mountain Creamery. It's the best ice cream I've ever had. It's about 10 deep as far as people getting ice cream.
How about Chandelier?
Open up a place next door to it now where you can get milkshakes and lemonade and stuff too.
Oh, that's great. How about Chandelier? Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mentioned that. That's
you
the one
did
with
with
the great tomato bisque soup and grilled cheeses and.
Well, they've got a soon-to-be world famous sandwich, don't they?
It's I mean, all their sandwiches are great. They make all their breads. So all those are great restaurants.
But
of course, AJ's out of Sandestin, has their restaurant, as well. If you want, bar food. Of course, AJ's is where Pandora's used to be down here for several years. The owners actually own Pandora's as well, but now have decided to call it AJ's in Grayton.
Yeah,
so,
David Doty joining us this morning, and David.
If you want some late night life, that place stays open until about 2 or 3 in the morning.
What's the name of it?
AJ's Great
Oh,
Beans.
AJ's. Okay.
AJ's is
I know
really good.
AJ's.
And they
It's
got
just like
good food.
AJ's Lucky Snapper in Destin.
Okay.
Yeah, I rode down the other day, and everybody was at AJ's. They have music too, don't they?
Yeah, they have a bluegrass picking band. It's called Sunday Fun Day down here, so that lasts from 3 to 7. So it's always huge crowds that are in there listening to music all day, and they do all kinds of specials.
I'm used to staying in Fort Morgan where it's pretty private. You don't really see anybody. I'm just looking for some
But you know what?
free ones.
And all these folks that say,
you'll be right next to a lot of stuff where you're going to be staying.
Oh, yeah, you
Okay.
really will. You're going to love it. David Doty's joined us, ladies and gentlemen.
You can actually, everything's walking distance too, which is always good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best thing about living in Grayton is, we can just walk everywhere. We don't ever have to worry about driving.
I know.
Well, everybody has a golf cart. That's why.
Exactly right. No question
Everybody has
about
a
it.
golf cart too. That's a business I wish I could go into down here is owning a bunch of golf carts, and I don't want to go in the bicycle business, but these golf carts are. I mean, I feel like every house down here that you can rent has a golf cart. Usually, they deliver all the golf carts, they deliver all the bikes. I mean, they deliver everything down here. They'll deliver a pack and play if you have kids. Anything you need, they deliver down here now. It's unbelievable.
Exactly. David Doty, of course, ladies and gentlemen, a long-time
kind of
Troy
popular.
guy. And, of course, he's been behind the scenes, but now he's on right in here with us, Mike. David, of course, does a lot of the filming and directing of several of our sports programs. And when are you going to make this trip to the beach?
It'll be, I think it's the second weekend of August.
Second weekend of August. That'd be a good time
But
to go,
hey,
wouldn't it?
We will be filming, speaking about sports, we will be filming the Dixie, I think it's the youth.
Yeah.
The
6 and
next,
under.
next week.
The Ozone next week.
Yeah. And I think we're going to try and do them live. The
Yeah, that'd
whole
be a lot of
tournament.
fun. Yeah, that'd be fun. Sure will.
It's good coming down in August now because schools start back so early now.
Right.
It's not so crazy down here in early August because everybody's got to be back and ready for school.
Right.
Impact's over, so the university, they'll be having all their kids back too. So
Yeah.
perfect.
Mike,
That's one thing down here is everything's on Walton County school schedules. So even preschool, where my little kids will go, they'll start at 7:45 and be out at 2:45 every day. So totally different from Birmingham, where we had daycare from 7 to 6 o'clock at night. It's a lot different.
Mike, you're going to shudder when I say this. Kanaka sausage will be the official smoked sausage of the Crimson Tide of Alabama.
Yeah, I read that article yesterday.
Let me tell you.
That's big recruiting news that Alabama has got Kaneka. Apparently, the athletic director is a big
and
fan.
part of
it.
a partner, part
really
of a
wanted to make that
relationship. Alabama's pregame tailgate show will be called the Kaneka Sausage Crimson Tide Tailgate Party. The sausage will be served as a concession menu item on campus and sports venues, including Bryant-Denny Stadium, so you can get Kaneka sausage at the game.
Well, that's like the Braves have, they tell you they've got this hot prospect coming up, and then they bring up Louisiana Red Hot Sauce as their sponsor, and you're waiting to see who this hot prospect is.
Exactly right. No question about it. And, of course,
for years, of course, Alabama's known for their stadium dogs, which comes with the sauerkraut and the special sauce, and those are brine hot dogs. So I would imagine they'll, definitely continue to still have them. But I remember at one time, you remember Ezel's Catfish Cabin, the famous place out of Butler, was actually serving the Ezel's Catfish at games. So Bryant-Denny Stadium's tried a little bit of everything over the years. I always tell people that now with the new security gates where you have to go through and they do the metal detector and all that, even though I don't think they're on actually, but you actually you actually have to wait in line a lot longer to get into games now. So like when you used to get the games, you couldn't even get to a concession stand, but now if you do get in, the concession stands are like no line whatsoever because everybody's still trying to get into the stadium.
Yeah, you're right. It's tough. No question.
Actually works a little bit better than it used to actually.
Of course, David.
Listen to this. Alabama's missing out again. Mississippi starts selling the lottery tickets December the 1st. So Mississippi is now going to have a lottery. Of course, they already had gambling, numerous casinos. So
golly.
Play the lottery and scratch offs. You can go to Mississippi and do that as well too.
I don't understand
what I can't understand is what's the difference in Mississippi and what's the difference in Florida and Georgia. And Tennessee, all of those folks have the lottery, and we're sitting here.
Listen to this, how behind Alabama is. With Mississippi now going to the lottery, the only states in the country that have the lottery are Alabama, Alaska, Hawaii, Nevada, and Utah.
Oh, man. And you know why? Because Nevada's got gambling. They don't have to have the lottery.
Mississippi's lottery is expected to generate $40 million the first year, $80 million to $100 million after that.
Yeah. What are we thinking about? I'm telling you.
Well, when I lived in Tennessee, you didn't have state taxes because of the lottery.
Yeah. And Florida, of course, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, what makes us different than everybody else? We more godly than everybody else, or what's the deal?
I mean, I think it's a situation where, they worry about, people wasting money or people that don't have money, wasting money on stuff like that and being even, broker than what they already are. But, I mean, down here in Florida, I mean, shoot, it pays for tons of kids to go to college.
Yeah. All right, Mike. Alabama's got their great young quarterback and Tua, and this is who he'll be throwing to, and a lot of them I've never heard of.
He's got the best wide receivers in the country. He's got
all right.
Always do.
All right, let me call him out, and you tell me about him.
He's got Smith, the great receiver that called the national championship touchdown.
Yeah.
He's got the Waddle kid out of Houston, Texas. I mean, he's got the best receivers in the country.
Yeah. Let me run them down and tell me about them. Have you ever heard of Slade Bolden?
Oh, he's a
freshman. Mac Herford, a senior. You ever heard of him?
He must be a walk-on.
Jalen Jackson, a redshirt senior.
Walk-on.
Jerry Judy, a junior.
Jerry Judy's right now projected by Mel Kiper as the top pick in the NFL draft.
Top pick in the NFL draft, Judy. All right, John Mechie, a freshman.
He's freshman, yeah.
Henry Ruggs III is a junior.
He's the star out of Robbie Lee. Junior day, they say Ruggs ran a 4.25, which is incredible.
That is really
for his size too.
Yeah. Tyrell Shavers, a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, he's a 6'6" kid out of Texas.
Devontae Smith, a junior.
I mean, he's a legend for the rest of his life because of that touchdown from Tua in the national championship game against Georgia.
That's right. Shandarius Townsend, a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, he's been a role player.
Yeah, Jalen Waddell, sophomore.
Waddle's the second coming of David Palmer.
Are you serious?
Easy.
Xavier Williams, redshirt freshman.
if you tell me anybody in the country is better than Judy, Ruggs, Smith, or Waddle, I want to see it.
All right, Auburn's quarterback's going to either be Joey Gatewood or Bo Nix.
I talked to an Auburn guy the other day down here, and they said it's going to be Gatewood.
I think so too.
Because he can run, isn't it?
Well, I mean, he can run, but he's extremely athletic. Yeah, I mean, he's 6'5", but he's got a cannon for an arm too.
Yeah. I mean, you told me he reminded you of the guru themselves.
They compared it to Cam Newton. Yeah, they did do that.
All right.
His name.
These rides.
You know, Nick. So I mean, I think you'll see him play. I think they'll play both of them. But I mean, as far as an athletic quarterback, I mean, I guess decision making is what it comes down to. But Malzahn's got to have a guy that can be a difference maker immediately. You know, I mean, he's got to try to keep his job.
Yeah. All right, here's the wide receivers at Auburn. Sal Cannella, Sr.
Yeah,
he's been there for a while.
Will Hastings, Sr.
He's the former fourth-string kicker that became a wide receiver.
Yep.
Okay, Zach. Yeah, pretty good possession receiver. Zach Farrell, Jr.
Yeah.
Marquez McLean, Jr.
Their best receivers is a kid named Williams that played at Paul Bryant High School in Tuscaloosa, and Alabama didn't even recruit him.
Yeah, Seth Williams, a sophomore.
Yeah,
Eli
Seth
Stove.
Williams, an SEC receiver.
Yeah, now Eli Stove is a pretty good receiver, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Shedrick
Playing a slot.
Jackson, a sophomore. Anthony Swartz, a sophomore.
Now, he's the track guy that's like the fastest guy in the country, Anthony Swartz.
He's the fastest guy in the country.
He'll be running the speed sweeps.
Yeah. And Seth Williams again.
I mean, he must be fast. He's supposed to be competing in the Olympics.
Right, he is. Yeah, you're right.
This kid, Seth Williams, is he the real deal then?
Yeah, I mean, he's the kid that played at Paul Bryant High School and then was out of Tuscaloosa and, had a phenomenal year last year with Auburn.
Yeah. Okay, the other one, Matthew Hill.
I mean, who in the world is going to throw better? I mean, they can't expect Nix to Gatewood to throw as well as Stenham. I mean, Stenham's, fourth-round pick playing for the Patriots now.
No question.
No, that's crazy.
Matthew Hill, Harold Johnson, Javaris Johnson, all freshmen, and Jashawn Sheffield, all freshmen. They have young receivers, Mike.
Yeah, they do.
And of course, this is something to take a look at right now. Mike, of course, right now.
Auburn's going to have a good defense. That's one thing. I mean, I think that they're going to win some close games, and then hopefully the quarterbacks will develop. I mean, if you're an Auburn fan, that's what you hope. But
besides having Cam Newton,
that first game against Oregon, I mean, Mario Cristobal is going to have a lot of athletes on that field. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Oregon beats Auburn.
The ESPN analysts are saying that the Auburn-Oregon game is the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, I agree with that. Opening the season, I think. I mean, I think Florida-Miami will be a pretty good game on the 25th, which is actually the first game of the season.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy. You think about that. That game's only a month and a couple weeks away.
That's right. No question about it. I was looking.
I'll say this. I was talking to a Florida guy on the beach Saturday, and he's a big Florida fan, and he was telling me that he thinks that, Mullen's a guy that will eventually win a national championship there, and I kind of agree. With the recruiting out of Florida, and then of course, he was always a great coach at Mississippi State. He just couldn't beat Alabama. So I mean, he had Mississippi State #1 for 5 weeks when Prescott was there. So I think I think he can beat Georgia and get to that SEC championship game. And you'll probably end up having to play Alabama.
No question about it, which is going to be great. And a lot to look forward to.
I've been to the Swamp before. That is one of the loudest stadiums I've been to. It's 88,000, and it really is a swamp. It's like the hottest place I've ever been on earth.
They do everything from their end zone. That's where everybody wants seats when they're in Florida to be in the end zone.
Got the wall behind you.
That's right. Why is that, Mike?
I don't know.
That's where their press box is in the end zone, I think.
What's the name of that stadium? Ben Hills Griffin Stadium?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Of course, it's a great place to play football. And
we made the mistake and went to that Troy game, and Tebow had Troy down, 45-0 at the half?
They sure did. And then Troy came back and scored a bunch of points on them, but that was way too late.
Made the mistake of going. It was that bad? It was that hot?
Yeah, it was hot.
I'll go ahead and admit it.
I don't know.
You remember it started raining. You remember if you remember
right. I'm the biggest Troy fans ever, but I left at halftime.
I don't blame you.
Exactly right. And But we were excited
I'll tell you one
about
thing,
it.
I'm not a fan that can sit through a game if my team's getting blown out. I mean, those loyal fans that will sit there regardless, and they're my team, and I'm going to support them regardless, and I'm going to stay to the final whistle.
Exactly.
I'm not that guy.
It's like going to the afternoon, going to an afternoon baseball game on a Sunday.
You know, Mike, let's talk about some teams that are down right now.
I mean, how many times in the last 10 years do you think we left an Alabama game before the fourth quarter started?
Oh, yeah.
Probably 90% of the time, because, I mean, they're always blowouts.
It was over, yeah, no question
I was
about
trying to beat the traffic back to Birmingham.
Yeah. Mike, let's talk about a few teams that will they ever get back. One of them is Florida State. They're down right now like they've never been before. What are you, of course,
I mean, there's no excuse for them not. You know, with Tiger being a good recruiter and
we'll go to commercial.
Coaching in Florida, I don't know how you couldn't get back. You would think they would.
Yeah. We're going to go to a commercial here. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back to Today in L.A.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up. You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town and Country Flooring Center.
Do you want a good truck driving job? Do you want to drive for the best? Then drive for Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We have good benefits. We have good home time. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield. We match your 401k up to 4%. You can start in the 401k retirement plan after 30 days of employment. You need to drive for Wiley Sanders Truck Line. It's time for you to think about you and your family's future. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. $1,000 sign-on bonus? These guys did.
Back to our show, and I hope everybody's looking forward to a big 4th of July. Remember, the 4th of July fireworks will start at dark on the 4th, on Thursday. And so get you a good position wherever you are that you want to watch it. But, you know, get your friends and y'all go out and find a place to set up a little grill and play a little music and sit back and watch the wonderful, wonderful fireworks demonstration right in Troy. Now, if you're in other towns, all the way from a 12 county radius above the beautiful lakes of North Montgomery, of course, you know, there's going to be fireworks galore going on in those places, but there'll be a lot of people going to Lake Martin, Lake Jordan, and then a lot of people go to Andalusia, Gant Lake, and places to go to enjoy a wonderful 4th of July celebration. But right here in Troy, when the fireworks start, that's the place to be is in Troy, Alabama, where we've got as good as fireworks as you'll find anywhere. Of course, we appreciate so much our sponsors, and how about Lawrence Hardware right across the street? That's where I'm going immediately after this is over to see my good buddy at Lawrence Hardware, and of course, Mr. Roberts. I will be over there later, and we appreciate you and Lawrence Hardware being our sponsors. And, of course, we appreciate Little Caesars. I had Little Caesars for supper last night, and it was delicious. And I had, you know, you can get the hot and ready, or they can do anything for you. And they put together two big pizzas for me last night that were just simply outstanding. I want to mention Dixieland Dental, located 9 miles north of Dothan on Highway 231. Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John Strength, Dr. Damon Strength, and Dr. Robert Precise make up one of the largest dental clinics in Alabama. We appreciate you so much. We're going to be here tomorrow, and we could. Let's just say this: we'll be here tomorrow either with a tape of a show in the past, or we'll be here live on Troy Cable. Hope you've enjoyed us. We're on Facebook across the country, across the world. Facebook live from our studios on South Brundy Street, right here in Troy. And again, let's get ready for some great tournament baseball, which will come to us on Friday. Our 6 and unders try to defend their state championship of 6 and under. That will start on Monday, and then on the 12th, our Dixie Bells are heading to Tennessee for the national championships, and we appreciate them so very. Or excuse me, going for the state championship in Florence, and then we're going to have a big cake sale on our show next Tuesday. That'll be Tuesday week, and our next Tuesday right here on this show. Hope you enjoyed today's show, and we appreciate you very much, and our sponsors so very much for being so supportive of our show today in L.A. We love you, and we wish you a great 4th of July celebration. Have a good one.